Alright, so we're getting ready to put a coat of oil on this after a 220 sand down. And I blew the stock off and all the inletting out with compressed air, which is only moderately effective, and you think it looks clean, but look what happens when you wipe a dry paper towel over it. It just pulls lots of microscopic sanding dust out of the wood. After we get another half a dozen or more coats of oil on this, we'll be able to start hosing it off. And that is super effective at getting the sanding dust out of the cracks. But I don't want to do that so early on because the water as it dries will leave strange patterns in the wood that need to be sanded off. So that just does not work. And my hands were a tiny bit damp from washing them, so I got just a couple little, one little damp spot there. And now that I do this, I can see more areas that could be sanded, but I'm going to save that for, there's one little spot I'm going to hit right now, but for the most part I'm going to save this for the next sanding down, because the ones I can see now, they're probably a fraction of what exists, and it really helps to have a coat of oil on it. To see those, one little more spot here. I just clunked it on the end of the duplicator, so took that off. This is a pretty crappy old piece of wood here to use for a messy. Maybe I don't want to do that too much. Yeah, I think I'll lay a layer of paper towel down on this board, and then we'll oil it. Oh, I can't wait to see how it looks. So get this, and a cup and some oil. Alrighty. Minwax antique oil finish. We're not ready to do the paper towel, folded paper towel routine yet. We will get there. Stand up on my high horse here. Got a couple of 4x10s that I stand on to get some elevation here at the high workbench. This is the back end of my duplicating machine, which is at a perfect height for doing its primary job of copying gun stocks. It's a little high for sanding, but I've only been in this shop for, oh my gosh, a year and a half now, and there's still so much to do. And along the front end of the shop, I want to block off the two roll-up garage doors. And one of them will just be permanently blocked off, make it out of siding so it looks nice on the outside, and the other one will be the same thing but with a man door in it. And then on the inside of that wall is going to be a 25-foot long, or approximately, I'm not exactly sure on the length yet, but probably about 25-foot long, 4-foot wide flat table. I'm going to make it out of silent floor joists, and that's going to be for doing airplane wings, both full scale and models. I designed a full scale airplane that I daydream about building. I don't know if that'll happen, but I'm going to keep heading in that direction. But maybe I'll just build something that's a commercially available kit. Now remember, you don't want to use a finger that's got oil on it on the back of the recoil pad, because it's just going to give you another job to wash that off. And we also want to be careful that we don't get oil dripping down the back of it. If you do, it's no big deal. Mineral spirits will wash it right off. But there's no sense causing extra work when it's unnecessary. You want to get inside all the inletted areas too. Nobody's ever going to see it, but it'll provide moisture protection. I figure the gun stocks I make, they're probably going to be around the world for generations. I've only seen one of them come up for sale in its gun, like a, I forget, $5,000 or $6,000 Wiscom. Probably exaggerating on the price. I don't recall. They're very expensive though. It was a beautiful stock, feather crotch, walnut, really gorgeous. It took forever on the project. I think the fellow wasn't all that happy about that part, but I've got this other one you're going to see me working on here in a bit. It's been hanging in fire here for about a year or longer. I'm really excited to get that one done, but that's another, it was $1,000 piece of wood, and it's like, oh man, great deal of fear. So then I didn't carve it all that close, and I had to do a lot of hand work on it afterwards, but I felt like with the handy work, I have a little more control than using big horsepower, but it just makes it for a really drug out project. And I guess I just, if I could do this once or twice a week, I would have the confidence and experience to be able to, wouldn't matter how expensive the wood was, it would just be another job through the machine. But that's not the case. I don't know, maybe I do 4, half a dozen a year. I'm going to start doing firearm work. Maybe there's more work for me there. There's some pretty challenging inletting. I mean, some of the inletting on firearms is easier than air guns, but the ones that have a recoil tang, or whatever they call it, the tang that comes over the back, past the back of the action into the pistol grip area, that looks really tricky. Boy, that's got to be done just right. I have done it before, though. Okay, we are soaked. Now we're going to use Scott blue shop towels. They are relatively lint free, pretty much are. And we're going to just inside and out, we're going to, oh, I missed some of the inside inletting. I did the forearm forks, but I didn't do up in here. There we go, slop some in there. Garbage day to day. It's the sound of a garbage truck. In my community it is expensive and they mandate it. Apparently, from what I've heard, once you have it, you cannot cancel it. So I don't have it until they find out. I'm saving myself 50 or 60 bucks a month or whatever crazy price they charge for garbage service here. And I live by myself for the most part. Girlfriend's here on some weekends, but my garbage creation is pretty modest. And I don't know, maybe it's not cool, but I'm not the only one in this town that takes their tiny bit of daily trash with them when they go to the store. But when it builds up, the most expensive dump run I've had, and the van was filled at the actual dumps, was $10. And I could do that once a month and be a lot cheaper than the garbage service is. Plus, I don't have a lot of storage space for those cans. I don't want to have to get their giant cans. Well, anyway, if you hear some noise out there, that's what it is. Alright, so I'm just getting all up in here. And some of these things like this, if by the time we're done, if there's just a big old clump goop of dried oil in something like this hole here, you just get in there with just handhold the Forstner and just cut that out, because it is kind of hard to completely sop it dry every time. Alright, enough rubbing. See how this looks. Oh wow, this is going to be great. It's really starting to look a lot better now. Let me try to show you the forearm here. You can just start to see the faint hints of wrinkled wood. There's kind of a bigger section of it on this side of the forearm right here. Oh yeah, I'm kind of seeing it in the viewfinder. Yeah, this is, you know, we're on our third coat of oil of what's going to be about 50 and dozens of sandings. So it's going to continue to look far better than it is even now. But already we're starting to see the contrasting color, and the mineral streaks are showing through, and that very faint rippled, wrinkled wood look that we call figure. Yeah, this is going to be fantastic. I'm super excited, which is the main reason I do this work, that and to share this with my fellow air gunners. But really, my personal enjoyment is just watching the wood expose itself as we go through the finishing process. Okay, that's it. I gotta go for a hike. Talk to y'all later.